Howdy Harmy Hearties and welcome to Medieval Technology. Today is a little bit different of a video because I'm gonna split this up into different parts. Because a lot of people have asked me to teach them more about how the stuff works, and a lot of people are just interested in seeing that it works. So the first part is for those of you that want to know that it works, and of course for all of you really. The second part is for those that want to know more about the ropes in general, because I have, while making this, I learned something kind of important about the ropes. And the last part is going to be for those of you that want to know exactly how to build this. There's some important information how to build the belt, which is going to be the absolutely last part of the video, because a lot of people have asked me exactly how to build those. And then there's a special trick with the rope drums to achieve this thing. But what is this thing? Really? I have failed to say that. Well, it's this. I can pull this cart towards me. I can pull it away from me as well. And this is something that we have tried before, kind of as a community. I have spoken to a surprising amount of people that have tried this and failed just as miserably as I have, because the first thing we did is we took let's do that. We took this cart and we connected it up to the rope drums, and I'm gonna demonstrate exactly how most of us probably did it. I know I did this. And then we tried to move it and it didn't work. You probably recognize this event if you have tried this before. And then I learned something about the ropes that taught me how to prevent this. So I'm going to show you that right now. So, the piece of information that I learned about the ropes, actually about a little bit more than a week ago, but I didn't really fully understand until now, is that when I connect a rope, that is the distance of the rope. It doesn't become longer, no matter how much I want it. So I can pull on this, I can press T on this, which should increase the rope length, but it doesn't, because there is no rope to feed. Now, just pressing T on this will feed rope, and pressing Shift T will pull, but if there's no rope to feed to the cart, then there's no rope to feed. So how do we give it rope to actually feed? And what happened when it pulled itself apart is because I connected it at a certain distance. When the other rope tried to pull it, you can see when I tried to pull it, it went berserk because there was no more rope to give, and it just pulled the cart apart because this side were still being pulled upon. So that is why it did what it did. So to fix that, you take the long rope first. So now we have made a long rope. This is the distance of the rope. And since we won't be going further than this, because we will place stoppers about here once we're done, then, well, that's fine. So let's pull this cart towards us. Come here. Come here, cart. And once we've pulled this cart to us, and we're going to pull it all the way to us, as close as we can. As we're going to do that. So there we go. Now this rope is at its very shortest, and this end rope end is at the furthest distance away from the rope drum, and we just made a rope that is long enough. So if we place our stoppers down like so, we have made sure that this cart cannot come too close to this rope drum. So if we do this, just pull this towards us, you will see that now it works. And the stoppers, they just make sure that we don't reach the end of the rope, because as soon as we reach that end of the rope, you can see that I can pull as hard as I can, nothing happens. I can keep pulling, nothing really happens, it just stops and then it lets go. So because we can't reach the end of the rope, it doesn't explode, because as soon as it reaches the end of the rope, so if I weren't to put a stopper here, it would explode anyway, even though we have the right amount of rope. Because when it reaches that point, it just goes berserk and explodes. So that is how you build it. Or not how you build it, but how you do that specific thing of the build. So if you want to know how to do the rope drums, you can stick around for the next part. And if you want to know how to build the belt properly as well, because you'd probably succeed, but it's not always that it's done perfectly right, then you can stick around after that as well. So let's jump over to that part, and if you're leaving, I'll say goodbye. So, over here I have our example build. In the middle here we're going to have our cart, which isn't going to be here because this is an example. So to place the rope drums in the right way so that they can spin in the same direction, you can see that because these two are directly connected on the backside, these two drums rotate in the same direction. So I'm going to show you how to make it so that not both of them pull and release at the same time. So I'm going to take a fresh drum, just do empty hand, take a fresh drum because that resets the rotation. And I'm going to press Q once, and I'm going to place this. Then I go to the other side, make sure that I grab a new drum, press Q 3 times. And if that's not your default rotating thing, if you press insert 1 time and then 3 times on the other side, it doesn't really matter which button you press. If you press it the same button once on one side and then 3 times on the other, that basically makes it so that the rope comes in from the top and does a spin like that. And on the other side, it comes in from the bottom and does a spin like that. So if they both spin in the same direction, or one of them pulls and one of them lets after. As you can see, I have added the belt transmission on the back side. I will show you how I did that after this section. I am just going to demonstrate how this works. So you connect this to the other side and this to the other side. This would be a cart, of course, and you would do the maneuver I showed you before. But just to demonstrate, these two are rotating in the same direction, but one of them is pulling and one of them is not. And if it doesn't work directly, so you take this, you place it, you press 1 time, and then you take that, and then you press, you reset and you press 3 times. If that doesn't work, then try it again. Just remove one of the drums, try to switch from 1 rotation to 3 rotation, until it works. So you can just switch between doing this, and if that didn't work, well, then you go back to the same side and you press 3 times, and then it probably works. So, I've heard that you're interested in how to build the belt transmission, and I am going to show you because I am a merciful god. That wasn't arrogant at all. It was a joke, people. So what you do is you build out 1 from the backside, or wherever you want these guys. You build out 1. And normally you do a 3 wide build. You can sometimes make a 5 wide as well. The size doesn't matter. The order you make it matters. So to do that, you build the vertical stick first, and then on the side you control left click and place them at the same time. And then you take the rope end, you build it up like that and like that, so that you place all of them at the same time. That means the rotation doesn't change. And then you go over to the other side, you do the same thing, you build it up. Just going to show you this if you want to see 2 times. So there you go. Take that, rotate it correctly, and use the control left click and drag. So you hold the left click and drag, and that is how it works. Then you connect the respective ropes, so the left to the left, the right to the right, the top to the top, and the bottom to the bottom. And there you go. There used to be a thing before when you couldn't add blocks and then use it, but you don't need to worry. You can see that it's working pretty well. You can see that it is jittering a little bit, increasing and slowing speed. That's just how they work, and there's not much you can do about that. But this is how you build it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave a dislike. And I shall see you for the next time.